Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Renee Mixon, and I am with Northwest GLRS, as well as a collaboration coach for the SPDIG grant. And this is
Tara Powell, and I'm at East Central GLRS, and I'm also a collaboration coach.
This session is going to be talking to you specifically about data and what we do in this process in collecting data, and then what we do with that data. We will also be talking to you briefly about the roles and responsibilities of some of the members of the team that you will be putting together. So hopefully, we'll get to the goals in just a minute, but hopefully you will get a good kind of overall picture of what this process is about. The two goals that we have for you, you'll leave here, you're not going to create one or develop one, but you'll leave here with a plan that I created for you. That's just a real kind of short-term action plan on things that you need to get done before a certain time, and we'll tell you about that before you leave. And the other thing is just to, like I said, kind of give you some information about what your team members will be doing and what type of team you should put together for this project. We just wanted to refer back to this picture right here because really that's what this project is all about. And the collection of data really goes back to this and being able to take individual students and wrap services around those students so that we can make sure that every child gets the support that they need. So this is kind of our big picture of what this project is all about. Now, I'm going to have you do an activity, and you can take just a sheet of paper or your lovely Callaway Gardens paper will work as well. And if you're here with a team, you can work with your team to do this activity. We're going to do a circle map. Is anybody familiar with thinking maps? A few of you. I'm trying to model for you here. So I want you to just put data in the center circle. And then draw a larger circle around that. And go ahead and draw a rectangle around that, which is going to be your frame of reference. And if you remember earlier this morning, Karen talked about one of the goals for the 2 days is for you to validate some of the things that you're doing. And so that's one of the things that I want you to do in this little activity, but also go beyond that and think about some other things. So I don't know if this is legal in thinking maps, but we're going to do it anyway. So draw a dotted line down the middle of your map. It is legal? Okay. Good, I'm not breaking any laws. On the left-hand side of your map, what I want you to put there are types of data you collect at your school already. You're just going to brainstorm as quick as you can, all of that. And then on the right-hand side, on this side of the circle, you're going to put what you do with that data. So let me model for you. One of the things you might put over here is that you collect some sort of teacher data. And so on the right-hand side, what I do with that data is decide on what professional learning that those teachers might need based on looking at that data. Okay, is everybody clear on what the activity is? Okay, so we'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes to do that with your team members, so go ahead and get started. Okay, now I want you to think about this frame of reference question. Of the data that you listed on the left-hand side of your circle, I want you to think of what are the kinds of data that you collect at your school, collect and analyze at your school that's unconventional. Things like maybe you do student interviews, and that's something that you use in order to help you wrap services around those students that need it. Or, for example, one of my schools that I work with, they actually have a map of their county, and they mark on the map, based on the kids that they are targeting, they mark on the map where those kids live. And so the services they're going out into the community and providing, based on looking at their map, they can see where they need to focus. Like they'll go to churches in that area so that they know that they're reaching out to those kids. So those are the types of things I'm talking about. So if you have any of those on your circle map, put a check mark by them. If not, then, and you can think of something that you're doing that you didn't think about earlier, go ahead and add that. Okay. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but would anyone like to share something that they checked on their circle map that's unconventional that you do at your school, data-wise?
Our teams go through a process each week where they choose whether it's academics or behavior, and they do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down of every child on their roll. And once they've targeted a certain number, they try to keep it under 10 for that week. They meet with those kids and come in and talk about goal setting and ideas and things like that.
Oh, that's a great way of thinking about it, yeah. Yeah. Other ideas? Yeah.
We do just in talking about how important relationships are in schools, we did just a personal connection data collection where teachers, everybody in the school, we put all the students up on the roles basically, and you just checked by the names of kids that you knew a little bit more than their name about, and we kept track. And then those kids that really didn't have any checks or had 1 or 2 checks, we printed out their pictures and put them up in the data room and made an effort to make sure we're making personal connections.
That's a
Great idea. That's an awesome idea. Those are the kind of things that we're looking at and talking about with the process that you're learning about today and tomorrow. What I'm going to leave you with on this activity with a final frame of reference question that you won't be able to answer today, but that hopefully you'll begin to think about when you go back to your schools and really start working in this process is how can we improve the way we look at data to support individual students? Because I know in schools that I've been in and then schools that I've been working with, sometimes we look at the big picture for the school, but we don't get into that individual look at students and see what personal connections they have with the school and really wrap services around those students. So hopefully before you leave here today that you'll have some idea about and get some ideas about how you might start to do that in your school. So what does it take to change school culture? And I only show you this because once you've got all of your data, then what happens from there? And I actually use this. This is from Douglas Reeves' book, Leading Change in Your School. This is not in your handout of PowerPoints from me because I added it later. But to me, once we have our data, then what do we do about it? It's kind of this list here. And these are the 7 things that they found through research that kind of push schools forward in changing the culture at their school. I'll give you an example. I was working with a team leader about a month ago. Somebody that's been in this project for, this is their ending up their 2nd year. And I showed her this list. And I said, look at this list. I mean, you guys can identify with this too. You're already doing a lot of these things. But I want you to think about how well you're doing, I said to her. And she said, well, we are doing some of these things pretty well, and we need to make some improvements. But she said, after I kind of understand this project a little bit better, we're not doing number 2 well at all. And so next year, their action plan is going to be all about making personal connections with kids, like this gentleman over here shared with us. So I just wanted to share that with you in terms of thinking about what are the things you're doing at your school already, and then what can make a difference in really changing the way you think about working with students.